Hello everyone, my name is Sunny. I'm with cmh3studio, and today we're going to talk about dynamic filters in relational databases with mobincube. In today's demo, we're going to review an app I did called the Troves of Adore Game Guide. And it's basically a database app that has a list of all the different things you would find in their game guide, almost like a glossary of things you can do and different characters and stuff you can get out of the game if it ever goes live. But the database is pretty straightforward. It's just a list of text, images, and those kind of things. But what's different is this app is created with only one database using filters. And then those dynamic relationships are when you click on the different rows of data and it gives you back that filtered information. And as you can see here, you can click on different things and it takes you down the stack. So let's jump into our PowerPoint and get started. Alright, the first thing we want to talk about are what is the definition of a dynamic filter and why have them, and then using those filters and the order field to filter your data and then set the how you want it sequenced, how you want it to display. Do you want it to display it ascending, descending? Do you want to give a random result? And then I added one more part to here about adding more than one filter to a single field. And of course, the example app is Troves of Adore. So dynamic filters and filters in general will take your data. So let's say you have 140 records, but you don't want to display your 140 records on the very first screen. You could set a filter in a column, and I'll show you how I did that. I set a filter called H for heading, and there's only like 20 items in the heading, but there's 143 rows. Well, I can filter on that first column of the database, and that will limit my view. And then the dynamic filters are a way to select an item. Let's say it's from those heading items, and then display those records based on what the user selected. The reason why you would have them is it really helps reduce the number of database fields or database views that you need. And you can filter on any database that's on your app. So let's say you had more than one database. Maybe it was a food database, and you had beer, pizza, hamburgers as like your first database. Well, depending if they chose beer, if they chose hamburgers, or if they chose pizza, you could say on your next database that has all the pizzas, filter just using that what was selected, which would have been whatever they selected. They selected pizza. This helps reduce the number of views that you need. And one of the places I wanted to show you is actually on mobincube. If you go to mobincube and you search on dynamic filters and relational databases, you'll get basically the same information that I'm giving you here. And they also give you some examples of how this helps reduce the number of screens that you would need in order to accomplish the same thing that you're doing with multiple databases. Alright, and then how do I filter on the field? First you select the column that you want, and then you select the operator, and then you select your value. So before we get too far, let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so let's go to the mobincube web cloud application, and here is my app, the Troves of Adore app. It really only has 4 pages. It has the splash screen, it has the first screen that you come to, and then it has my table of contents, which is a data source view. And when they come to the table of contents screen, it'll look like this. So this is back here, this is the table of contents. And so let me show you how I filter on that information. First, you have to select this filter button here, and you click on that icon right there, and it says, what field do you want to filter on? So again, first select the column you want to filter. So I want to filter on column Troves of Adore, or TOB. And I'll show you over here, that's my first column in my database. I'm only using one database. It's called Troves_DB. My first column is text, text, and text, and then 2 image fields here. And what I've done in my database, so the database has 140 records, and I put a value H on any of the columns that I want to highlight as my table of contents. And so if you come up here, and even on this is the edit view of the database, which you can get to the screen on. Let me show you how to do that real quick. So this is your screen here. You can click edit, this button right here, and it will bring up your database. And you can put values in here just to kind of test how your stuff is working. So if I filter on the letter H, I get these results here. These are all the columns that I want to show in my header. So these all are marked with the column H. Right? Table of contents. Alright, so I filter on any values that are in the field TOB that, and this is your operator. This is going to say do what? They include the letter H, they equal the letter H, they start with the letter H. In this case I'm doing equal, but you can do any of those. And then I actually just type in the letter that I want to here, or the value, whatever value I want to filter on. And this one has 2 where it says where Troves of Adore is equal to, or that column is equal to H, or that column is equal to A. And the reason why I did that is I wanted to put a welcome screen in there, not a welcome screen, but a welcome value. So if I go back to edit, so this being H or A, if I come up here and I put the letter A, you'll see that it's the welcome heading. Alright, so you first select the column that you want, so you select that from this filter here, what field, and then you select the operator. Is it equal to H? Yes, or A? Yes, and then you just click accept, and it will filter on those values. And then you order your data by either ascending, descending, or random. And the way you do that is click this second button here, and you could say do what? Order by which column do you want to order by? And I just say order by the first column, ascending. But you can make that descending, you can make it random. That's how you select how you want to display the order, and it's going to display them in that order based on what you clicked or set. So these are all my values that have in the column TOB an H or an A. And if I select an item here, this is where the dynamic part of the database happens. So I clicked on monsters, and now it's giving me a list of all the monsters. So how did that happen? Well, back on, this is the same database. Let me show you here, Troves of Adore DB, and this is just another view, Troves of Adore DB. This is the one that kind of goes from the heading to the subheading level. So I just clicked on monsters. This is going to give me the list of monsters here. And how I filter that is on this dynamic database value here. So this is how these dynamic filters will take what was in the heading of my last selection and apply that here. And so I say when the heading, just like the what field, instead of TB, I say when the heading is equal to what was selected in the previous page. So going back to the database, if I select, where was it, monsters? If I select that, I'm selecting now the heading of the last data of the previous screen, and I'm saying filter on that. So let's see that from the database level. So let's go. And the easiest way to show you is actually on this other one, because this is going to have all my records, and I'm going to simulate what I just did on that previous screen. So if I selected monsters from the previous screen, it's going to give me the list of all the monsters just like it does now. So from basilisk all down to wyvern, basilisk all the way down to wyvern. You can't really see it because it's dark there, but that is my list. And then I do the same thing. If I select a value from this, let's say I select dragon, from here it'll be just like filtering on the word dragon. So monsters, dragon, and this is going to give me my result right here, which will be what comes out of this is the image file. It's going to show me the monster dragon, which will be this one right here, and I'll get a view on my app of that, plus the text that goes with it. So let's do that. Let's go down to dragon, click, and there's my text for the dragon and also my view. And you can even zoom it in. So let's take a look at that. Alright, so this was the first screen, the first view, where I selected filter on column 1, troves of a door, where it's an A or an H. So give me only those back. And then I selected the subheading, which was monsters, give me only the monsters. And then I selected dragon, which means give me only the dragon. So let's see that again. Oh, let me click off of that. There you go. So let's say I wanted to see the champion characters. Let's type in characters. I'm going to get those results. So if I come over here and I click on champion characters, there are my results right there. And if I select one of these, like tracker, I'm going to get the tracker. So let me show you how that gets down to there. This is the heading one. I want heading. I'm filtering on what was selected in the heading. And then when this item is selected, it's going to go to the detail. So this is like me selecting monsters. Then I get the monster image and the text. And then this is just a more narrowed version, blown up version of that picture. So again, I'm just, based on what was selected in my filter, based on what was picked, I can drill down into those database fields. And it would work on any of these items that I have selected. Let's see, let's look for magical spells. There's only 2. So let's do that. Let's filter on magical spells. So what was that? Magical spells. There's 2 of them and there's only 2 results. It's either just going to give me the one, just like that, and there's the other one. So what I also did on this database that I thought was kind of interesting, so like the monsters, since there's quite a few of them, I've got, where you can select each monster by going to that screen, but I also put a next and previous record on a header at the bottom. So if I click here, it goes to the next record, which I like that. And then of course you can scroll down and read about them, but that is how it just goes from record to record. So back over here, that would have been monsters, and then would just be going down the line. So what am I on now? Giant. Next one will be goblin, and then harpy, hydra, looks like a wolf, and a minotaur. Alright, so back to our PowerPoint. I think that's, yeah, this is just more of showing you when I selected the monsters, it took me to the second view, which was on here. So this is the first screen heading. Once that's selected, I get the sub list. Oops, this is the sub list. And then right here is where I get to the monster itself, or the image of the monster. And all of that is in the database right up here. And all that does is point to a file, an image file, and then it would go to the Hydra one, which, there it is, view, there he is. And so this database is, these first 4 are text and these last 2 are images, and that's how I handle them in the database. Alright, that's the last item. That concludes our video today. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube, click the notifications icon and the thumbs up for the like. If you're on library, lbry.tv, go check out cmh3studio, and I post videos there as well. Sometimes they're a little bit different than these, but most of them are the same. Again, I appreciate your time in watching this video, and you have a great evening. We'll talk to you later.